This is a Saturday Morning TVLog from Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. Welcome to another Saturday Morning TVLog, and this time around it's the Super Globetrotters, brought to us by Hanna-Barbera. Greetings, my fellow YouTubers. I'm Doyle, the Big DTL. This is Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. So today's Saturday Morning TVLog is the Super Globetrotters, an animated superhero series from Hanna-Barbera. The second overall Globetrotters film, but it would be their third overall if you count the live-action Harlem Globetrotters popcorn machine series that came out in the mid-70s. Now, unlike this show's predecessor, this was solely produced by Hanna-Barbera, whereas the original series was co-produced with CBS. And thus, this was the only show to be owned by Warner Brothers. Anyway, the Super Globetrotters originally premiered on NBC in September of 1979. Now, in a way, the show is factually sort of similar to its predecessor in ways, but maybe not a whole lot. The show featured the basketball team of the Harlem Globetrotters, which, unlike its predecessor, only consisted of 5 of them. Now, 2 of them were from the previous series. Those were Freddie Curly Neal and Hubert Geese Osby. They, along with a couple of 3 other members, Nate Branch, James Twiggy Sanders, and Louis Sweet Lou Dunbar, are undercover superheroes who would transform from their regular forms by entering magic portable lockers. Now, each member of the group had individual superpowers and could fly. And, of course, they gained their powers through an element called Globetron, and another exposure would weaken them on occasions. Now, some of this show is similar to other shows that Hanna-Barbera had produced at the time. Not at the time, but before this. Most notably, The Impossibles. Toon featured on Frankenstein Jr. and The Impossibles. Hence, some of the characters were patterned after the 3 Impossibles. Now, each week, the Globetrotters would be having fun with a basketball game until they are receiving their mission from a basketball-style talking satellite called the Crime Globe. Yes, always starts out with this, oh God, now dig this. Yes, and gives the heads up. Now, most episodes culminated in the Super Globetrotters challenging the villain and his henchmen to a basketball game for whatever treasure or device they sought. Now, most of the time, the civilian Globetrotters were always bested by the villain's superpowers in the first half, but they would use their own superpowers in the second half, often at the admonition of the Crime Globe to save the day. Excuse me. Almost similar to what we saw in the original Toon. Of course, that was just the actual Globetrotters themselves. You know what I'm saying? Great. Now then. Yes. Now, throughout the series, they encountered all sorts of characters and what have you. Just one per episode. They don't face them off again. They face off with such odd characters such as Museum Man, Bawana Bob, the Facelift, Whale Man, the Phantom Cowboy, and Bull Moose, plus a lot of others. Sometimes some of these baddies do have sidekicks and other creations to help them take on the Globetrotters. Anyway, after a total of 13 episodes were produced, the show had come to an end in December of 1979. But however, about through most of its run, it later got teamed with another show that Hanna-Barbera was producing, and that was the Godzilla cartoon, which was also on NBC at the time. And thus, it was packaged with Godzilla to form the Godzilla Globetrotters Adventure Hour, which continued until September of 1980. Now, like many series created by Hanna-Barbera in the 70s, the show contained a laugh track created by the studio. Now, actually, this is one of a number of shows made before the mid-1980s seen later on in reruns on Cartoon Network and Boomerang to have been taken from PAL prints. So it'd be tough to find with the original, audio and what have you, prints and what have you, I mean, there are other shows that have been, that I've recently seen from PAL Prints, like the new Shmoo, which also came out the same year, in 1979, which I have yet to do that one. And there's probably several others. Anyway, now we have a pretty good set of voice actors. Now, 3 of them actually returned from the original series. One of them is Scatman Crothers, who recently voiced Meadowlark Lemon in the original Globetrotter series. This time he voiced Nate Branch, aka Liquid Man, but who could turn himself to water, also called Fluid Man, like the character from The Impossibles, and even Aquaman, which of course that name was also used in Hanna-Barbera's take of DC Comics Super Friends at the time. Now, Freddie Curly Neal and Hubert Geese Osby were voiced by the same people who did them in the original series. Stu Gilliam would voice Curly, aka Super Spear, who could retract his limbs into his head to bounce, smash, and grow. And naturally, his head looked like a basketball. And as for Geese, who would be known as Multi-Man, which of course that was also the name of a Impossible, he could clone himself to surround and mystify foes. Of course, similar to the DC Comics character Multiplex and Marvel Comics character Jamie Madrox, Multiple Man. Now, as for the other new members to the group, Louis Sweet Lou Dunbar is Gizmo, or he's also known as Gizmo Man. He had an immense afro which contained an unlimited supply of gadgets, including one that fits the current situation that the crew is in every time. And James Twiggy Sanders is kind of a Coilman type character called Spaghetti Man. He could use his body as a ladder or rope. Now, Sweet Lou is voiced by Adam Wade, and Twiggy is voiced by Buster Jones, who recently voiced Black Vulcan in the Super Friends, and he'd also go on to be one of the 2 voice actors for Winston Zeddemore in The Real Ghostbusters, which reminds me, the show was developed by Andy Hayward, who would later go on to work on shows that would be produced by the studio that did The Real Ghostbusters, and that was Deke. Anyway, yeah. The Crime Globe was voiced by voice god Frank Welker. Yeah, really something. But anyway, it also had lots of other voice actors, including Herb Vigran, Joe Baker, John Stevenson, another famous voice actor who is certainly no stranger to Hanna-Barbera, and even Michael Wright, who recently voiced Green Lantern in the Super Friends. He was also the show's narrator. Lenny Weinrib, another big-time actor at Hanna-Barbera, who he had recently voiced Inch High Private Eye, and the same year this came out, he was the original voice of a certain Scrappy-Doo. Well, but just for that show's first year, till Don Masick took over. Paul Winchell was a voice actor, so was Don Masick. Yep. That's about it. Anyway, if you'd like to see what the Globetrotters look like as heroes, give me a second and I'll show you. That's what the Super Globetrotters actually look like as they're in their superhero forms. So now you know. After the show ended, it had not been shown again until Cartoon Network picked it up in reruns, but unfortunately I stayed up to see it late nights because that's when it aired. But I just couldn't make it on some occasions. Later on, I would catch get to see the whole series a few years later on Boomerang, which that was pretty good. Anyway, in 2014. Just right about after the show had recently turned, let me see here. Yes, 35 years after its debut, The show actually got released on DVD through the Warner Archive. And that's another cool thing. And of course, we also get music done by musical director Hoyt Curtin and just about a lot of other things. Super Globetrotters, I feel like, is kind of underrated. It's not really one of Hanna-Barbera's best attempts, but nevertheless, it still provides some real fun and excitement. If you are a fan of this, I'd say you may want to give this a try if you'd like. Now you can probably find these on various websites. You can probably can't find much of it on YouTube though, considering Warner Bros. Has it. You can find the intro, however. But anyway, yeah. So now you know about the Super Globetrotters. It's pretty good and it's fun in ways. So maybe if you are a Globetrotters fan and if you like the original series, I'd say maybe give it a try. I mean, I know that three of the characters' superpowers are kind of knocked off from the Impossibles, but nevertheless, it still provides a fun-filled, well, spoilingly fun series. So let me know what your thoughts are on the Super Globetrotters in the comment section below. And if you like this video, click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and be a part of the Big D Nation. And stay tuned for my review of Swamp Thing coming up later tonight. So thanks for watching, and oh yeah, and you'll still get a spoiler-free review of Uncharted tomorrow, alright? Now, thank you again for watching, and if you like this, consider check out these other videos I've done. In the upper left-hand corner is the Saturday Morning TVLog for the show I was just talking about, Frankenstein Jr. and the Impossibles from 1966. The upper left-hand corner is the Saturday Morning TVLog I did for the Harlem Globetrotters series from 1970 a couple weeks back. Or go to the bottom left-hand corner and see last week's Saturday Morning TVLog for the Jackson 5 animated series from 71. And the bottom right-hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., as well as the Saturday Morning TVLog, then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching, and next week's Saturday Morning TVLog is Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids. So until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.